right now. The only thing I don't like about this is um, I like using my Ecamm Live so I can do my custom intros. When it goes straight to Zoom, I can't use my custom intros. But there we go. Okay, so now we should be live. I'm going to be checking a couple um, formats to make sure we're live right now, everybody. But you should be seeing us in a few moments. Okay, let's see. It says that I'm streaming to a few platforms. We're going to give it a couple seconds. As this is getting started, guys, if you're watching this, again, this is Build With Me, episode 26, how to start building marketing funnels for clients. And we have a returning guest, Nancy. Before we've had you on an interview that's going to be releasing the same time this drops. But for people that haven't heard the interview yet, they want to know about you. Could you talk about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. No, well, one, thanks for having me back again. I'm super excited for today. And two, yeah, if anyone wants to reach out to me, so my business is called BYOB Agency, which is Build Your Online Business. And you can reach me right on my website at www.byobagency.com. And I do a number of things, but it all starts with a phone call. And I tell people, if you're a business, whether you're already existent, offline, or even if you are online and you are just unsure of what your next step in your business needs to be to really grow and build awareness and get your brand and your business out there online, I'm here for you. So
Good times. No, this is going to be perfect. And a lot of people are going to need to contact you to make sure that they get exactly what they need. And you're a perfect candidate for a lot of these things. So this is perfect. So today, guys, I know this is a little bit early. You might be like, okay, it's 3 p.m. You're usually streaming at night. Today, we're going to be doing a special build. We're going to be looking at how to create marketing funnels for your clients. We're going to break down using the right kind of tech. And Nancy, we were talking about this the other episode while I was on her podcast about her transitioning using marketplan.io. So we're going to do a preview. Now, this is a preview of a preview because we're going to have the COO or CTO of Marketplan on the featured build with me at the end of the month. So that's going to be February. I don't even know what month. April 25th. Let's do that. April 25th. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go over the beginning, and then we're going to get right into what you're trying to do. We're going to take notes and kind of go from there. Okay. Like most of our shows, this is built for an hour to build and to really take advantage of getting your business up and running in this hour. So remember, if you have more questions, if you're watching live or watching the replay, ask the questions now because this is beneficial for you right now. We're not having you watch us build this. You just watch, eat popcorn. This is for you to build your business today. So being that the case, let's get this thing started. Nancy, can you see my screen?
I can. All good.
Okay, awesome. So as always, guys, my name is Doc Williams, and I build 3 businesses with one tool every single show. We're doing this for 40 days straight, part of the initiative and this challenge that we put for ourselves. And today is episode 26, 26 times in a row that we've streamed. So super excited. So we're going to be talking about how to start building a marketing funnel for your clients. We're going to be using the tool Marketplan. And the idea is to create or build that marketing funnel for our clients and to have a template for you to be able to scale how you're working with clients, for you to have a system in place for you to not just do this once, but for you to make that first sale and then make it again and again and again. So we're going to go with the basics of what Marketplan is. And then Nancy, what I want to hear from you, you're going to talk me through what you're trying to do with your clients. And then from that angle, we're actually going to introduce Marketplan and start building this out for you. Okay.
Super cool.
Okay. So for everyone that has not used Marketplan before, marketplan.io is allows you to map out your marketing funnels and allows you to collaborate with your team and execute your strategy live with one click. Although it seems like a lot of promises and it's like, oh, I've never seen something work that way. I guarantee you, as you see this, you're going to be able to do this. Now, just like how we go through a lot of different tech and go through this before, every platform has multiple features. The main thing that we encourage people, if you're trying a new platform or tool, do not get weighed down with trying to learn everything the first day. There are many different features. So I always say learn key components of that software for you to accelerate your business, then learn other things as you go on or what you need help with. So Market Plan has marketing and planning. You can have accountability and collaboration by either assigning tasks for your own team or with your clients. You can send them messages. And you can also have projections by turning on certain automations and project what's happening either by how many visitors you're getting based on your budget for ads. You can do all of those automations on it. And also you can turn on live mode where you can actually track by using UTMs. You can track of what's happening with your sales and all those kind of good stuff. So it's a pretty powerful platform and there's a lot of possibilities. But before we get in, just like how we do with most tools, we're going to hear about how we want to use it before we proceed to go in. So Nancy, you're here. You're our guest. We're going to be helping you use this and utilize this in your business. Tell me a little bit of how you want to use this platform.
Excellent. Yeah. So I'm excited to really just learn as much as I can in this short period of time about this, because what I know of Market Plan so far is it's everything I think I've been looking for in the
Okay.
last, like, gosh, 4 years. But what I would love to use it for is with my clients. So obviously, right, I'm pulling out of them what their biggest priorities and what their biggest needs are for their business. And one thing that I think is the most, like, the key thing that companies and businesses need to have is a funnel, a marketing funnel, and they need a way to increase awareness, right? Like they need a way that they can find clients online and obviously grow their business that way. So I'm definitely excited to find out how I can get that all set up and create something where I can show them results each week and measure how it's doing.
So we'll see each week and showing progress. Okay, cool. Now, and we can definitely talk about it how we do it at Brand Factory. So I don't want to influence you this way unless you want my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, for us, we have a couple different, like, we have a three-prong approach of how they're going to be getting clients, and we can kind of show you in Market Plan. I think that would be a good basis. And then you could tell me like, hey, I like this, but this is what we do as well. How would you illustrate that? Is that okay?
Super cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so just to make sure I have everything good before we go into this, you want to have a clear marketing funnel for them to see. Most of your clients need to increase awareness for their brand. They need to find clients online. So that's increasing leads, of course, increasing leads. I'm going to say increasing qualified leads, blah, 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 blah. And then you need to show results and showing progress throughout this process that you're working with them, correct?
Correct.
And for how long do you usually work for your clients? Is it usually like, hey, we do a 3 month start and then it's, we check in, or is it like once they sign the contract, it's a 12-month commitment? How long is it usually?
Yeah, how long is so I do a deep dive. That's kind of my entry level. Everyone who drops into my funnel, does that deep dive call. We build out that plan, and then they basically can retain me to help with tech and obviously meet my team and I to help out with some of those tangibles to start working on the action plan that we create. So I
Mhm.
put together basically a 90-day action plan on how we
Here we go.
grow. Yeah, and like build their business. And honestly, most of them retain me and are still with me.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. That's what I need here. Okay. So the action plan. So what I see is, and this is, I'm just seeing it from like the overview of your company. We're not going to build this out in Market Plan, but so if we were building out Market Plan, we need to have everyone get to that deep dive call. From that call, then they're paying for that 90-day action plan. That 90-day action plan can then result in you to actually do the work
Yeah,
as like a plus plus service. Is that correct?
correct.
done for you. Service to execute 90-day program. Okay. That's there. Okay. Okay, cool. And all right, that's good enough. We can work from there. So to get started, if anyone is, and I'll drop a link for marketplan.io. Hold on one second. So copy here. I go to the Restream chat. This is Restream that we use. So Restream sees every channel that I have, and I can just say, hey guys, we're going to be building in marketplan.io today. If you want to start, here's the link to the platform to create a account for free. So then I can do this, drop it. It's sending it a message to everyone online right there. And then you can actually just drop links right there. When people respond or what's going on, you can actually pick the platform you want to respond back to.
Oh, so cool.
So if I want to talk to people on Twitch, et cetera, you can do all of that from one feed. Yep. So just a side point. So if we go to marketplan.io, everyone, you go to log in or sign up. And after you sign up, my account looks kind of heavy because I have a lot of things going on here, but you'll get a screen where you're going to be able to create a new project. Now, every time that you create a new project, to me, I use each project as a client. Then under that project, I have different plans based on the marketing funnel that I built out for that client. So right now I'm going to say like new client, I'm going to say beta client right here. And what's today's date? Is it 4/11? 4/11.
Yeah, 4/11.
I'm all off. Okay, so right here. So I'm going to say beta client, boom, right? Okay, we're good. So we have beta client 4/11. Now right here, I have their plan. Now I'm going to say deep dive. Deep dive. Should I say deep dive 90-day plan? What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, because that's together from that, we kind of hash out and come up with a 90-day plan.
Cool. So I have that right here. Now, as I'm about to build this, if you have a 90-day deep dive that you already know the framework, you might not do it the first time, but after you do this a couple times, you might be like, oh, these components, I use it every time. I then make that a template. And then when I'm about to build for my 90-day client or something like that, all I do is duplicate that template that I already built for that plan.
Cool.
Just as an example, I have like discovery call funnels. If I go over here, I have hook and sell demo, e-com demo, and I have evergreens webinar Spanish. That's for like if I'm doing someone that's trying to teach another language. That was one of them. Freedom alignment, that's another client. So these are like my best of, so I keep them right here. But you can do it any way you like. Now, if you're right here, you can edit the name on the left-hand side. You can duplicate on the right-hand side. So let's get right into it. So when you're right here now, if you keep in mind, everyone builds a little bit differently. Some people build left to right. I build from top down because to me, that's what a funnel is. And I like being able to explain it to a client top down. That's my own opinion. You don't have to. So this is how I usually start building it. Number one, I have a sticky note right here. And I might have a notepad right here, depending. Okay. Now, the reason I have that is when you're talking to me, I'm just going to say just notes for funnel. So I like to build in real time when my potential clients are talking, because they see my expertise on display as I'm doing it in real time. If you have everything built out, it can look impressive, but they don't see your expertise on display.
Yeah.
So to me, I do something where it's first problem, prison, escape. And that's just a take on, ADA or anything else. So first I'm hearing the problem. Okay. So and we'll kind of go through this. Nancy, I'm going to have you talk to me like you're the client, and I'm just going to build it in real time. And then we
Okay.
kind of go through it. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
All right, so we're gonna just take this to the top like we just first met. So thank you so much. You filled out my form for my deep dive. So tell me about your business. What are you dealing with? And of course, you can use this time if you're prepping for your client next week. If you want to give, generalities, not details about your client, you can do that too. So you can work on it right now too. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, super cool. So I'll kind of do that. I'll give you roughly, I'll kind of fuse a couple clients together. Yes, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Sounds good.
So yeah, so I mean, if I were the client talking to me, usually how it goes is, so I actually have them complete a form beforehand, like a Google form. So
Perfect.
I'll already have an idea, right? In which I could
Easy.
probably add that to the notes section, right?
Exactly. So you can drop it, copy and paste it. You can do whatever here. So you can add form from client here. Yep.
Awesome.
There you go.
And so, like, my four kind of main focuses are operations, brand, social media, and launch, kind of, right? Because people drop in my lap at kind of different stages. And I found out I've done most of my build outs around those things. So, for example,
Say it again. Operation.
operations, brand,
Yep.
social media, and launch.
Launch. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I'll talk through with the client and a couple current clients. Honestly, it seems just like everyone needs the same things. Most of them are one, they need help with their branding and their voice and how they present themselves online. They're not sure exactly how to put themselves out there to their target client. And so that's always usually the first thing that we kind of delve into. So that's always one of the priorities to work on is making sure that they get clear on their brand strategy and voice. The next thing that always comes up is definitely social media. Talk through them, like what platforms they're currently showing up on, if any. I always tell them to at least choose three, which honestly always usually come down to like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And, it depends on obviously, where their target client kind of hangs out. But we'll talk through that. And on social media, and especially right now with the client that I'm working with, is they just want a solid routine and plan to ensure that they're getting the information out there. They're creating that awareness. They feel comfortable with their presence out there online. So I would definitely say, yeah, the routine and plan for social media.
Okay.
Huge. Yep.
And do you usually, in your first deep dive meeting, are you usually focusing on brand and social media, and then you're telling them, hey, guess what? We got to get this right. And then your launch, then it's going to look like something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So normally, I'm actually working with another client. I'm sorry to jump around.
No, that's
but
fine.
we actually spent the first month and a half. We had actually started. So she needed help creating products. Like she didn't actually have a viable product yet. And so halfway through the first month, so we actually built out a little plan and I made her, a nice little project management board on Trello. And she said, okay, great. I feel comfortable with the product that I'm creating now. But I realized that I really have not been as present as I wanted to be on social media. So I really need a plan of action to, make sure I'm set up for success there and I can launch this thing. So that's where it usually goes from that, that initial whatever they choose, which honestly should always start at Brandon, the social media. And then we always jump into the next phase.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is what I'd probably do if I was going to be with clients for you. I would probably I would build out during the deep dive session 1 and 2, have the launch or operations. Basically, I would just have launch as another template. If you want to show them like, hey, I've got you at this point, but here's what it looks like as we would launch. Then they already be like, oh my God, like Nancy already got all this stuff done. Yes, I just need to focus on that. And that way you don't have to build out the launch. You don't have to spend time. You can easily just have it in another window and say, hey, this is where I start with clients, but look at this launch sequence that I'm making that will be curtailed for you.
Yeah.
and you're giving it as a bird's eye view. They don't need to know the details. They just know that they've got you, and you've already got them emotionally prepared that they're going to work with you for 90 days and beyond.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would go into phase one, and we'll talk about like launching and what that looks like for market plan. But I think right here, let's talk about this. Okay. So everyone's a little bit different, but the way that I'm using a market plan, I'm always talking about visualizing success and getting them to the bottom line. So the next question is, if you're talking about branding and then social media, right? Branding and then social media, how are you going to show them as wins for branding? Is it something that you're doing on social to get them ready as a branding kit? What KPIs can they look for that they know that their branding is getting right and then it's reaching their goals?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the tangibles that they walk away with this branding is one, I have I mean, it's an amazing, kind of an assessment into help pulling out of them like who their target audience is, who they are as a company. It talks about, missions and values. So it helps them, one deliverable is it helps them get very clear on what they offer, who they're offering it to, and how they want their business to show up. So that's like a deliverable there.
Hmm.
And then the next thing is I actually build out graphics for them that can be used. So
Hmm.
a tangible, like we choose colors, we choose fonts, we choose graphics, and I basically put together templates that they can use for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, to keep their branding consistent.
Okay, hold on one second. That's good to know. Thank you. Um, hmm. Okay, so where is that thing? Custom media. Drop that. View. Okay, so I would do two things. Number one, if you're doing that, are you doing like a branding kit kind of in Canva or something like that? Or where you do it?
Yeah, so I create so it's on Trello, but I build out most of the graphics and the mood board and everything on Canva.
Do you have could you drop me the URL real quick? Or just an example of one? Could you show me one?
Yeah, let me see if I can grab one.
Sorry. Because this is what I'm thinking. Hold on one second. Let's see.
How do you want me to share this with you?
You can drop it in the chat for Zoom.
Perfect. Okay, so I give you the link so you can click and edit it.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Okay, I've got that. Okay, I've got this. Chat. Let me grab this.
And that's just like a quick mood board.
Yeah, let me see about this. So let's see about this. Add that. Enter URL. Okay. The reason I'm doing this right here, I'm bringing in the URL. Usually this should be fine. Take a couple minutes because it's going through so many different layers. But once you plug in, the reason I have this here, I can clearly have a branding kit, even if it's a template that they can see inside their plan. Now that's loading and everything like that. But if you look at it, if I have a branding kit right here, and then before you build out my social, they already can visualize, oh, this is the first step. That's the first step. And also too, if you know what I'd probably do, probably because it's load time and then it's trying to do it probably because Canva and their editing and all that stuff. Let's see how fast. Yeah. You see how it pops up because it probably has so many different things it could be doing.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's taking so long to pull in. So what I would probably do is have a static image that I can pull in that represents the branding kit.
Got it. So it's just the same for everybody.
Yep.
It's know that that's done.
Yep. And the reason I would have that is the load time is so much quicker. You can have all these things, but also right here you can explain, hey, from your kit if you want, and this is just an added effect. You don't have to do this, but you see how I can have tasks? I can add a task where confirm branding kit, right? And they can already start seeing that you can assign them tasks, and for them to check in, and they're a part of your process.
Hmm.
So you can assign it to a client. You don't have to assign it, or you can just say, hey, I'm going to do it. But that way they already know where they are in this process.
Now, can the client actually, like, can they see it but not have the ability to edit it, or
If
like
you
is
want your settings in your account, you can do that.
okay?
It's totally up to you. Again, I'm not saying like, yeah, give them full access, but sometimes it's almost like I think maybe we were talking about this book, but it's a book like How to Never Lose a Customer Again, and it talks about the onboarding sequence of what makes an onboarding experience. It's usually when the client feels invested, they feel like easy wins, and an easy win is for them to say, yes, I love the branding kit, proceed.
Beautiful.
So that's an idea. You don't have to, but that's just a possibility of getting them just to get used to it, and then they're invested. Now, when I have the branding kit here, then what I can say is, okay, you start with, once we get the branding kit, you're gonna have them on social media, right?
Hmm.
So what kind of are you doing all organic? Are you doing ads for them for social media, or what is it like?
Yeah. So the first phase is just ensuring that they have the platform set up, which would be LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay. Okay. So right here, when you go into social plans, you can just drop in. I'm going to work on your Facebook campaigns, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So now they're on the same. Okay. These are the growth strategies. These are the platforms I'm going to be doing. Now, right here, I can actually drop in the URL, their own URL for that account if you want to, but you don't have to. But that way you can be tracking each of them individually, all that kind of stuff.
What does it, if you did drop their URL in there, what does it give you insight around?
I'm going to do it right now and see.
Okay.
I think, I don't know. I'm gonna test it because I don't want to give you the wrong answer. Copy. Instagram, blah, 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 blah. Seeing if it's going to. Okay, so done. So this is a possibility. Let me add a couple others and see what happens. Gonna use mine and see. Where is this thing? Let me get my profile. See if I can just pull this. Okay, put that there. Enter. Okay, done. Okay, cool. Okay, have that there. That's fine. Links, links, links. Okay. Now, did I put it all right here? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you why I made this over here look like this, but I'll stop for a second. Right here, I'm going to say branding kit. I really don't need this necessarily to connect because the branding kit isn't going to give me any data that I need to start from social. The only reason I would do it if I want to show that you would go from this line to this line, I can connect it, or I can just use a line right here and
Mhm.
just let them know like, hey, this one is going to lead to this next thing or whatever. If that makes sense. Let me grab it. Oh, arrows are so hard to grab. Let me just do this. Okay. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Okay. Let me do it again. Arrow there. Let me rotate it. Rotate it like this. This to here. And again, the reason we're doing this, everyone, is a lot of times your clients are very visual. They need to be spelled out what's happening. So that's why I go to that length to put an arrow, just because I don't want any confusion later on.
Yeah.
So once you finish the branding kit and you see the percentage, once they're done, I can say complete. And then let's see, move this to done. Right? It automatically becomes 100% or a check. So then they know where they're going to proceed next. So that's why I like that. Now, I think I could be wrong. The reason that we're going to have it as an input is if we go live and we start grabbing the UTMs, that's why they're making sure that you're adding the links there. And that's why it's going to track. Now, the next process to me is UTMs track if you put copy on page. So how is that going to track? Only if I'm doing ads from those platforms would it correlate. I'm just thinking out loud. I need to get the answer from Market Plan for that. But I think that's why they would say, okay, when you drop UTM links, if you're running marketing ads, it can then tell you what platform you're using is the most effective from that social media platform.
Got it.
I'm going to get clarification from Tyler on that, but I think that's what the purpose of that section would be. I'm going to show you if I'm just going planning stage of what I do this. I use ads right here and I'm using them incorrectly. I know, but I'm going to tell you why. I switch it over to Facebook and I'm doing that. I'm going to change it to just Facebook campaigns. And to me, this is just visually how I like it, because then I can represent each campaign with that different social media without them needing to click and see, okay, it's the 3 here. I just want them to visually understand we're going to have 3 campaigns based on that.
Got it.
I'm not saying it's right. And Tyler, if he saw it, he's probably just rolling his eyes like, why are you doing it this way? But and this is just me, I use my marketing plans a lot more for getting the clients and for them to keep up with the marketing plan than me going into live mode and doing it. Or my live mode, I just make it another page so they can't touch it and I don't have to worry about it.
Got it.
So if I'm doing this, I would say view. Again, I'm changing this source. I'm saying Instagram, dropping out. Again, switching over. LinkedIn, dropping out.
Now, why can't you do like the social plan like 3 different times, or can you only have one?
I could. The reason, let me see about it.
Maybe because you can't do the actual image of like the Facebook.
Yeah. And the reason, let me see. Maybe this explains here. You can store your social media accounts and easily access. Okay. So this one's easily assess your posts from different platforms to learn. Okay. So this is meant for if I'm managing clients. If I'm managing clients and I need a project manager to know what's going on with that bundle of that brand, they can easily ascertain where the URLs. So this is almost just a holding place, not an actual place to draw data from. Okay. That's why I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense to me. To me, I was like, there's no way that they can pull the data from that because you can't drop UTMs on a social media platform. So this social plan is for project managers. And we'll talk about the project managing feature of this platform. For them to get data, they're just going to be able to go here. What brand are we working on and grab it from there. Does that make sense?
Got it.
And because I made so many, I totally forgot where I put, there it is. It's over here. So just for this, I'm going to delete the other 3. So I might have for my project managers over here. This could be used either in real time for ads, because once I'm over here, I'll break it down over here. So we can go here. I can drag this for Canvas and I can actually have the representation of what's going on with the ads, everything like that. So you can see the exact ads, the post, the copy, the videos, all here. So everyone, the entire team can work here and not be on Facebook's platform to do it.
Now, if you are copying the link, like let's say I have some ads running now for a client, like I can copy that. Oh, wow. Like that ad URL. Mm-hmm. Will it automatically generate the image and the copy, or?
That's a good question. I'll get that other answer for you right now. Okay. This is good.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, because that's great. Like, what a great way to check in and really compartmentalize each client, by being able to pull up and see. And, as a like I am a Facebook ads expert as well. So like, you should always have at least like 3 campaigns going,
Yeah.
right? Like bring leads, retarget, and to grow. So this is
I'm getting that for you. I don't know the answer, but I'm going to get that for you.
cool.
So does it pull the data from the Facebook ads that are already running? And can they be right here? Okay. I'll get that answer for you. This is, I'll say this section as well too. This is, you can do projected budgets and have it run against projected versus the actual as well. So say for instance, and this is like advanced, if you're getting a client specifically for ads, I think this is where it would be beneficial. Like just at the top is if you put in your projected budgets, you can run then your projected stats over here.
Mm.
And then you can say, hey, if we go for this cost per lead, this is what we're looking at. This is how many leads we're projecting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Great.
And you can go against ad spend versus total revenue. So you can do that with the projections. But I will have that when Tyler's on the show. I'll try to get an answer before that, but I'm definitely going to have Tyler walk us through that one.
Cool.
Okay, so we have that one. Okay, so now that we have the projections of those campaigns, what's the goal of those campaigns on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram? Are they all in a perfect world going to the same landing page, or all of them have distinct landing pages based on the demographic of that platform?
I would say, I mean, we usually start out with the same, and then if we, feel the need to change, but it would be the same, I'm going to say.
Okay. So what we would have is basically everyone going to the same landing page. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the note from, I'm doing this very simple in a way of it's just saying yes to everything. If they come from this source and yes, they opt in to go to this landing page, that's what I'm recording. The reason I'm not trying to do yes, no, whatever, I want to see what the ratio of what's happening to the landing page of success. Then we can build other campaigns if the answer is no. Or we're going to have a retargeting campaign from Facebook when they don't go to this landing page, but they click on the link and they don't click on, I'm going to leave that all out for right now because I'm probably going to add and look at data from there from later on. But I want to see from the messaging on these campaigns, where is my most qualified leads coming from? And here we can see the visitor count from all of the platforms, the visitors right there. Then from here, from the landing page, are they opting into something? Are they going to a sales page? What usually happens?
Usually it'll lead them to sign up, for something. So it could be to, basically sign up for a free checklist for something or to schedule a call.
Okay. So depends on you. But I have a couple different things to describe what's happening. And the reason, although yes, you can use whatever you want. Again, we're doing this very visual. So I want to get as close as possible to what they would see. So I either use the opt-in icon or I'm using a calendar, book a call. So they're coming from landing page. Which one would you want me to use right here as an example? Opt-in or the calendar?
Let's use calendar for now.
Okay. So I'm going to say, yes, drop that.
And really quick, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Really quick. So let's say you pressed live, right? And you have the Facebook, you have the Instagram, you have the LinkedIn. And let's say you're just connecting the URL, through how you're doing it. Can you just connect your regular profile URL through that?
I would probably do that. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
Because I would have to confirm. If you're doing the regular profile, I would still have to have some other page where I can drop code where it can track it. Okay. So definitely I would put the UTM in the live mode on landing page. Should it track where the URL, the feed it's coming from? Absolutely, right? Because it knows the source of where it came from. Would I necessarily put code on the Facebook, IG, and all that? Only if I'm using Linktree or another third party where they're going to a bio that I can then track. I would put codes there. Then it would be a direct correlation. So to me, and this is, I'm going to have to check, For if I'm starting out and I just want it to track from the face. Oh, one last thing. I'm thinking another thing. If the profile, I would have to check. If it's content I'm sharing on those platforms, I'm then giving Facebook a link to share. If I'm using a short link or something like that, I would drop the custom UTM on that short link so it would track from what campaign I've got on what platform. That's what I'm just thinking. I would have to verify, because what I'm thinking is if it won't be enough clicking the bio or the name of the person, right? It would be then them being on those platforms, them clicking a link to get off of that platform, and then I'm tracking that. So as long as that's the case, on that landing page, I would do a live track code. I would drop this code onto that landing page. Then that landing page will automatically tell me where it's coming from, that source.
Got it. Okay.
Again, this is only from like organic traffic to going. There's a different procedure because you're going to have to drop the UTM if you're doing ads differently, right? So from the basics, hey, they're on this social, they clicked on this kind of page or this kind of call to action, they're going to this page. That's how they would track it.
Got it. Now, does this connect to Google Analytics as well?
Yes, it does.
Okay, because
Yes,
I
it
know
does.
that the Google Analytics also tracks, like the social media platforms.
It can all play nice together.
Nice.
And I'm going to ask Tyler to show how to do the GA integration too. But yes.
Super cool.
Good questions. This is good. And again, this is good because I always use it visual to get clients. I don't do it live tracking for active clients. So these are all good questions. Okay. So we have this, right? They're going to calendar. So I'm going to track from calendar, from landing page to calendar, right? So I'm saying yes, yes again. So now it's going to give me my percentage from landing page to calendar. What's the percentage of my traffic converting to booking a call? Now, what the next thing that I'm going to need for my calendar is the confirmation that they booked it, right? So I'm going to give a confirmation. Now it's up to you. Do you want to try to upsell them right there? Depends on your funnel, et cetera, et cetera. You don't have to, whatever, but confirmation. And then it's probably going to do either a redirect to a thank you, just a submission. We've got it. Good. Or you might do a thank you and then it redirects to homepage, whatever you want. Either way, now I have a clear delineation of from landing page to calendar to confirmation to thank you. What's happening? And I can see the visitors from the top of the funnel. Where are my visitors coming from out of the 3 platforms? And this kind of goes back into planning versus reality, right? Because how many times of your clients are like, oh, we need to be on this platform. If they didn't have pure analytics, they would be like, no, we kill it on this platform. Maybe you're not. Maybe Pinterest is your best one. But this allows them to have an unbiased opinions, pure numbers, what's actually happening with their campaigns and what's happening with their brand online. Perfect. Then from here, I can have, hey, confirmation, calendar, confirmation, blah, blah, blah. If I want to, I can then say, I'm going to have them have an email sequence. After they even probably calendar or once they book, I might have it down here. Now I'm having, yes, they've got a confirmation page. Now I'm going to attach them into whatever, and then they're going to go into this opening segmenting email. After that, down here, I can have a decision after they said yes. Although a lot of people don't use the decision icon that much. I do it just at the bottom, just so I know, okay, the decision is that they're going to chat with me. And then I'm from there to there. And then this allows me to see the conversion of how many people signed up and it was a confirmation and they had the reminders, how many people show up to the chat. And then here we can clearly show, okay, this is the end point, but look at all the things I have to build for you to get to that end point.
Yeah.
Also, the email sequence. We're going to start with a very basic email sequence of doing X, Y, and Z. but then it's going to get to this portion, right? So you can do a couple different things with that. Or you can say, hey, this is saying, do I want to pull in the source of this? Basically, you can connect it to ActiveCampaign or whatever you want. So then if you have a project manager working on it, instead of them logging in, where do I find it? What's the URL? You can have it there so then they can edit directly, or you can actually build out your own email sequences in the builder itself and then just copy and paste the content. It kind of depends on what you want to do.
Excellent. Yeah. Can you show me that? Like what it looks like if you just
Yeah.
wanted to build it out? Because I use different
so
platforms.
For some reason, I'm like, well, why am I not pulling in? Oh yeah, I'm in live mode. Then that's why they're saying like you haven't defined your source. I'm like, why? What is wrong with you? Yeah. So if you're doing it right here, you can go first of all, edit, build out your subject lines, all of those things. Wait, I'm sorry, Nancy, before I just go off on this tangent, did you want me to show you how to bring in your other sources like ActiveCampaign or building in the builder? Which one did you ask?
I actually, just because I use so many different ones and I'm not sure if they all would integrate. Like I do use Kartra for a client. I use Kajabi for a lot of clients. I had one that used ConvertKit, but actually just switched to Kartra. So like probably would make the most sense just to build out and then make copy and paste them.
I feel you. So right here, basically, I can just copy and paste the icon. I can do email and just drop the emails, right? So that way I can just say like, hey, our opening standard email sequence is 5 emails, something like that, right? I can also drop conditions. So then if this condition, blah, blah, blah. So it's really easy. Like if they open, email 1, user does X, right? So this is kind of the reason I like, and some people like, this is too simplistic. Well, actually, just like how you mentioned, if you're using so many other platforms, you just need clear directions for your team to what they need to do. So actually, it makes more sense for the simplicity.
Yeah.
So you can do conditions here, or you can do straight actions. You can say action, wait 1 day. And now here, you can just, everyone, when you're using whatever platform, you know exactly, hey, I'm doing this email sequence. I wait X amount of days before this. Or I can say, send instantly next email if they click X, or start 12 hours later, blah, blah, blah. Easy. You add the emails, actions, conditions. And then when I'm here, I can just say edit. I can create my whole email here. I can save it, all that kind of good stuff. I can even do headers, whatever I need to do. I can drop pictures. And this, to me, I just do templates because I know I'm going to go back in, right? And do it on another thing. Over here too, if I need to have like links, or perhaps you're building it in Google Docs and you're like, hey, I just want to drop links to the Google Doc for the copy. I'm not going to build it in here. You can do that too. And again, too, tasks, I can just say, copywriter, review all emails and conditions. Confirm when done. So I can do that as a task. The task is right there. I can also assign it to my copywriter. I can assign it to anyone I want. And then they can move it when they're doing it or I can say, okay, that's your to-do. Let me know when and they're going to move it. They're going to tell you, you just look at it when it's done because they're doing it, right? It will complete and you'll know, instead of, those countless messages. Are you done? What are you working on this? Like it's their responsibility to be moving it when they're working on it. So before I go on and before I talk about anything else, how does this look? How do you feel with this?
This looks awesome. I mean, I would love to like make this a weekly conversation. That's why I'm so excited about the analytics and actually see what pulls, because, this is okay. Once we get this all built, which is so tangible, right? I love, potentially having this be like a weekly meeting and saying, all right, here's how many visitors you're getting. Here's how many, the ads are doing. Here's how this, that, whatever, like, I love this.
Yeah. And it's great. So right here, you can have view only links. share this with other users. So if you do view only and you have it on live mode, it's going to pull automatically. And then you just send them a link. Hey, we're going to review everything next Monday, or standing every Monday at this time. We're going to review what's happening in the funnel.
Excellent. Yeah, because I was going to say, since I build out usually project management, whether it's in Teamwork or Trello, I can have that link there and we can review it together.
Exactly. And then here I would have to ask them, but like, okay, funnel flow, all organic. So you can even with live mode, you can show them the different traffic types. Funnel flow, all organic. I got a loss less mode. I got to ask that. So maybe, well, let me just, I just need to learn how to read. Here, you can determine whether you want to see real people or include spiders, bots in your stats. Huh. That's interesting. And then blacklist mode. This turns on if you'd like to run through your website without adding your funnel stats. Huh. So again, a lot of different details for product, for live mode. And then here, this allows you to make mini maps, grids, all those kind of things. That's because before it would be like, man, I need more space. Well, if you do mini map, this just becomes one section of a giant map. So this is another section. What you could do, again, start with the basics. But if you wanted to, you build out one grid of the social media one, and then really to blow their mind every single time, you just scale out your expanse, and you already have their launch mode section where all you'd have to do is drag and drop, or just drag the two funnels together, and then it automatically will pull in the analytics when you're ready for a launch mode.
Excellent. And is that, like you're saying, already, like I could go ahead and like build that out in their plan, and then just obviously focus on what you're saying, like the social, and then I can say, yeah, and down here, this little guy,
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Exactly. Because if you do that, let's do this. Okay, so the grid, I like grid sometimes just because I can be more precise. You don't have to have it on. If you have mini, you see over here, you see this mini one?
Yeah.
So you see how much space you have for the real one. So you could say, hey, we just talked about this today. I've done all this for you already. This is how we work. So I can even back out here, right? And I'm like, hey, this was really great. How did you feel comfortable today? Yeah. Did I answer all of your questions? Oh, absolutely. Okay, great. That's your beginning funnel, because that's what we do all the way down here. But we got to start here to start tracking, doing X, Y, and Z. And I can shut that off if I want to. And then we don't have to worry about notifications. How does that sound so far?
Excellent. I mean, everyone is visual. People need to see it. It's overwhelming otherwise. So it's great.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I was saying, like, before I would struggle with closing the deal because the visuals. A lot of people that don't understand funnels, they hear the word ClickFunnels, they just don't understand what it is and what it could do for their business. So this allows you to sell your idea, sell what you do best, and then keep it moving.
Absolutely.
Let me make sure chat's good. We're good. Okay, cool. People are watching, but it's all right. They're just watching. Remember, guys, if you're watching, just put things in the chat if you have any questions, things like that, because this is the time for you. But of course, you can watch this on replay and go from there. So we just did this with Market Plan. Do you want me to show you a couple of the advanced features, or do you have any questions before I go on, or do you like, hey Doc, like just stop. This is enough for right now. You just tell me.
Yeah, I want you to definitely keep diving in. But the one question I had, because again, I'm going to take this, what I'm learning, and I'm going to go ahead and build my little thing as soon as we're done. So steps wise, right? So you created, we already talked about, you made the new project, which is going to be the client. You did the new plan, which is going to be, something within that. So again, this is the 90-day, plan that we kind of built out. What would you do then to add everything analytics wise, right? Like, so that it all works exactly like we need it to. So you kind of mentioned just make sure to add like the source code on the landing page. That was one. But can you walk through that with me really quick?
Yeah, not a problem. And I'm going to verify with Tyler, because every time we do this, everyone's totally different in how they do it, but I'm going to show you the basic way.
Okay.
But I'm going to verify because he's like, that's good, Doc, but like you can do better. So the basic thing where I'm looking at this, everything that I want to track on every page, I need to have a UTM. So if I'm building my landing page, my calendar, whatever, if I'm using Book Like a Boss, if I'm using anything, I need to make sure that the confirmation or all of the pages that I can track it and I can put code on it. So even if I'm using Paperform or something like that, I'll use an example. Paperform. Okay, so sorry, I have to do this. This annoys me like no end when I see tons of notifications. I'm fine. Okay, so say for instance, let me just pull this one real quick. So if I'm using a form builder, I'm sure Google Forms has this as well, whatever you want. See where it's analytics, third party. So right here, I have my GA analytics, my Facebook one, but where it says page load script, I put it there. I'd probably have it successful submission script. I'd put that there too, the same one, because then it can pull the information that I need when it's the same page, but you know how it loads and everything. And it's a confirmation that it went to confirmation or that it was a success. So that's why I need to put script right there.
And where did you get the script again?
When I go live mode,
Okay.
it will say tracking code.
Okay.
And it will say copy. Let's just try it right now. Let's just see what happens. So let me do this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna make a really, really basic plan. Just add some stuff, okay?
Okay.
So let's do this. I'm gonna go with one of our assess. Was I messing with this again? Hold on one second. Yeah, I definitely was. Cool. Okay. So I'm gonna use this page. I'm gonna use this. This is one of our application page. I'm going to edit it. Sorry, I got to move some things around real quick.
No worries.
Okay, let me do this. So we've got this deep dive. I'm gonna build this out from scratch just so you see it in real time what I would do. So new project, what I'm gonna say is I do bracketed like this. I do main funnel, Brand Factory Inc. I'll just do that, right? So I do create. So main funnel, Brand Factory Inc. It's going to switch over here. I'm going to say new page. Okay. I'm going to say opening funnel, Brand Factory Inc. Okay. So I'm going to add that opening funnel. Do that. Okay. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have website here. I'm going to have, where is it? Survey page here. I'm going to drop down just a little bit because I'll probably add other sources later on, but I'm just going to do that. All right. So we're going to do survey right here. That's over there. Okay. So I'm doing survey, then confirmation. Oh, yeah. I'll do that. Where's my confirmation? Oh, confirmation. Thank you. Are you building it right now?
I'm actually looking in Google Forms right now,
Oh.
my other screen. So yeah, if anyone sees me looking over here, I literally have two huge screens. I'm like,
That's good.
So I'm looking in Google Forms because I primarily use a ton of Google Forms. I love them. To see if I can actually add the code on here. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Let's see. Tracking code. Can you let me check. Have you just Googled to see if you can drop scripts into Google Forms?
Let's see.
Or maybe even like an HTML or a script box that you can put so it automatically attaches itself?
Let's see. Let's see, how do I add script to a Google form? So it looks like it's possible.
Okay.
Um,
Is it a drop down or options?
It's a little video, so I don't want to click on
Oh,
that.
okay.
Is how do I add script to a Google form?
Don't worry, I'm doing this now, so you can, if you want to watch it. This is what we do. People are used to watching
Oh, cool. All
us.
right.
What? Yeah.
This form.
Let's see. Hmm. It looks like there's an app you can actually add. So digging into that a little bit.
And so what I'm doing is I'm actually going through the sequence and just as a note, if you want to do that with like Book Like a Boss, you have to embed Book Like a Boss on that WordPress page. So then you drop the code on that page that's associated with that embed. You can't do it directly in Book Like a Boss. So that's something to keep in mind if you're using Calendly or something like that. No, you use Blab. So if you do it and you want to track Blab, you have to make it on that WordPress page or whatever to drop the script so it tracks it from that page.
Okay, and I have both. I have Calendly too.
I would check if, yeah, if it allows it to do it on that script. I'm not sure. Hold on one second. Front page. Okay. Edit with Elementor. I got to get out of, got to go to plan mode.
Yeah, it looks like actually in the Google form you can, it has script editor.
Okay.
But it looks a little intimidating to me.
Okay.
It's got like function, my function, and then you basically
Yeah.
write out script.
You know, I don't mess with that.
Yeah.
But there might be a video how to do it better than how I would explain it because I don't want to jack up your pages.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into that. But I know there's a way. There's definitely a way. And it looks like there's some add-ons, like some apps you can get. So like when someone fills out, so I have it set up that if someone fills out the form, it automatically goes into the spreadsheet, so from
Yeah.
there it goes into that spreadsheet, they get a confirmation email, and then I can set it up, I think, to put code somewhere. I think we should be.
It's good. Hold on one second. Thank you. Yeah, I was doing way too much. That's why I was like, why are they yelling at me? Okay. So I have code here. I'm going to take this over here. I'm going to go into live mode tracking. They have primary code. Let's take this, copy, drop in code right there. Okay, let me do this front page. Oh, let me just see if this is, let me just do this the easy way and stop. Let me do configure behavior. Let's do analytics. Let me just drop it real quick. Okay, so this is Google Tag Manager, whatever. I'm going to add more code. Let's take this, drop the code. totally forgot I put code on this one. So I'm saving that. See what it does. Let's opening page. I might have to do it on the website real quick just so I can see the full thing. Because I have it for survey and confirmation, but I want to see if I can just drop the code right here from website, and then we'll just pull from both.
Yeah.
Then just test it real quick. So hold on one second. So I just added it to my paper form. I'm going to add it to the website. Okay, let me put this down. And by the way, although I'm doing this live, if anyone's watching, like he's just editing his homepage. I do not advocate people changing their website unless they do it on a staging ground. So don't yell at me. But I've always done it like this. And I just don't like putting sites on staging and then do it. It's because I'm lazy. So if you're doing this, remember, save, do not do this live. Make sure that you're taking all precautions before you update anything. Because I do not want to hear those messages when people are trying to do this. Copy. Click to copy. Let me just copy that. Put this over here. See, it doesn't like that. Okay, hold on one second. Adding okay, adding and using blah blah blah, basic blah 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 blah. Yes, yes. Whatever marketers should do. Episode there. Videos. Sticky notes. Traffic. Elements overview. Notes. Upload your account. Tools overview. Hold on one second. Marketer. Blah blah blah. Setting up live mode. I'm not watching this whole thing. Stop all of this. See, they've even changed that since then. I'm going to get the verification for you. See, and they're doing that with the whole, I do not need all of this. They're combining it with convert pages, which is basically a really, could you imagine? It's almost like a plug and play ClickFunnels, but you can work it on every website. So if you basically put UTM tracking on anything, it will make your funnel, depending if you want to switch it from Landingy to WordPress to Squarespace, it will make the entire ClickFunnel or whatever. So that's what they're showing in this video, like how to connect all of that. That is way too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live real quick with this one thing, and this should be a piece of it, so you can see it. But I wanted it to be a little bit more, but I'm just going to do this real quick. Okay, I'm going to go live here. Live here. Yes, yes. Okay, live. Okay. Now, I've got that one live, saved. Okay. Last 7 days. Okay, tracking. Yeah, choose between using primary. Okay, that's fine. Okay, visitors to confirmation. Okay, let's see about this. Let me do this one real quick. Doc, founder. Put this in here, submit. Okay, switch over to there. today. Let's see. Okay. Visitors to conversion. Okay. Let's see what I need to do. Survey to confirmation to go there. Okay. MIP, that's there. Stats. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. So I just attached it from survey to confirmation. So live mode, it's within an hour. So it probably, because it makes sense with their servers, they're going to update stats probably every 15 minutes to an hour to go into live mode. So it's, again, up to an hour. I'm going to refresh and see what happens. But this is how I did it. And then I'm going to create a smaller video afterwards, so you know. But when I'm having the page script loads right here, I'm putting everything right here in my script, in the load script, and then the successful script, submission script. Now, the reason I'm doing that is, let me go back, that when I have the survey, it's this page, but when I want the confirmation, it's going to go from the visitors versus confirmation. And so that way I get both numbers. And that's why I want to put script at the on page and then confirmation, or that it was successful, because then that other script's going to load from there. And then market plan will pull in both numbers and tell me I had this many visitors here. They're doing this much. So that's what's happening. I'm going to ask them for live mode in real conversion, how often the live numbers roll in. So I'm going to give you that information too.
Cool.
And it makes sense too, because you wouldn't want it to be the server bill to have it in true real time would be so high, because it would have to pull the API data from all of those UTMs consecutively all the time. It would be so insane. So I just got to find out how often do they pull the numbers for live mode. Okay, cool. Okay. Before we go on, does that make sense?
Yeah, and I over on the other screen, I'm pulling up because it looks like there's a bunch of different like apps you can install that work with forms. So there's so many different ones. So I'm sure there's something on there where you can simply probably add source code.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, and then yeah, if you already have one that has that ability to do it for before and successful, then you have everything that you need to pull in the number from when they're on page to when they confirm, and then they finish the form.
It's so cool. They even have an app where you can give someone a badge if they complete your thing. It gives them a little, sends them a little gamification.
Oh yeah, I love that. I would do it if I got a badge. I would do every confirmation. I would do every survey if I got a badge.
I put it all over my website. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem. They already know it. Okay. So I think this is good. I was going to show you two more features, but any questions before we wrap up?
I'm ready to keep going.
Okay. So these are all basically, we went through the different pages, all of this kind of good stuff. And again, you're going to emulate basically anything that you want. Member pages, downloads, webinars. So pretty much everything that you want, I make sure that it matches. Over here, you're going to get the ads, social plans, keyword planner for if you're doing Google searches and everything like that. Blog planner, if you want to do the same thing, if your team, you're working in WordPress and everything, but you don't want to build it on, you want all this information for your entire team to just copy and paste when they go on platform, you can do all that. You already saw the email and you saw chat and decision. Now, later on, once you get your full funnel going, let me switch back. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like anything I built earlier. So if you're going back to what you built and you like something, I go to the very beginning fundamentals of what you want for most of your, even if it does 85% of all of the mapping for you, use that and then save this as a template and then have that as a starting point for your clients. Then when they talk to you or they're like, well, what about this? Then it's easy to use the tools just to build it live to get all of the other points that you have questions on. Now, after you're doing that, oh, right here. You have a Kanban that they're going to be changing. Actually, it's going to be a lot more. But right here, you can have all of your to-do doing done, and you can just have your entire team work on Kanban.
Oh,
The other version is too, you can break it down into calendar. Their calendar is actually going to be changing, which I'm happy about. That's okay. So that way, when you assign it, they can switch over to calendar view and then go from there. Hold on one second. Okay. So you have done that version. That's done there. The other section I already told you about exporting is sometimes if I'm just going and I'm building a plan for someone and I don't want, I'm like, hey, guess what? Even with the call, if you don't choose me, here's a free copy. I can export it as a PDF and send it to them.
nice.
And the reason I send it that way is because they can then reflect on they don't want to do all of that work of that giant funnel that I just built and they feel overwhelmed. So it's like, why don't we just work together if it comes to that point? Here is where you can manage your team. If you can add your team, all of those things, you can have the admin. You can say, I'm the admin. You're going to have these kind of features, all those things. And account settings. So here, if you want to, I never really mess with it personally. This is just the agency version. I have the agency version. I just like, if you want to start with pro or even the free one, you don't need agency. Agency version, the only benefit is if I wanted to white label it so they wouldn't know that I was using Market Plan and it looks like it's my own thing, you can do it. I just don't white label stuff personally. And then that's that. I'm going to show you a sneaky tactic that I use. Have you ever heard of Catch Letter?
Catch letter. No.
Okay, so this is what I use when, say, for instance, I do this as a bonus for clients if they really want me to spy on their competition. Catch Letter allows you to basically sign up for other people's newsletters, but then it strips it down to the HTML. So basically, I can watch their entire sequence and then it puts it in its own box. So then if they're saying, hey, I'm this brand, I want to see this person's campaign, I can just break down their entire funnel and then have it. And because it strips it down to HTML, I can copy and paste it and put it into my market plan.
Mm.
So this one is just an example like of who I'm watching. Obviously, I love the hustle, so I'm looking at what's happening with them. But you see how it's this email is the version of the hustle. But if I wanted to, I can just do HTML and then just strip the HTML and then copy and paste it. Over here too, I can see if some of these are clients, some of them are just people I love. I can see what they're doing and then look at their emails that they're putting out. And then I can just copy their sequence or have a framework of what they're doing.
How can you see their like emails?
Oh, what do you mean? Like, how do I get all of their emails?
Or is it because you're subscribed or you have?
Yeah. So this one, instead of me having to, instead of me using my email address, it auto makes an email address associated with this account. And then it just pulls all the emails that it automatically sends to that account.
Got it.
Yeah. So sometimes I use Catch Letter with Market Plan if I'm like, hey, you're paying me for planning, but I can upcharge you into like competitor analysis when I'm watching what they're doing. And then I have that in my services as well.
Cool.
Okay. So I went over an hour. an hour and 20. So for the ones watching this is good. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking with us. Nancy, is this helpful? Does this help you get started?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my brain is churning because I'm like, all right, here's what every client needs, right? Like here's the master plan. So I definitely have some ideas.
Cool. Yeah. And I think this is, if you build out your templates or build it out, even if you're always going to get better and use Market Plan more. So I always say, what's the basics? What do you want like your core fundamental discovery calls for deep dives to have? Build that in Market Plan first. Don't try to be really nuanced yet. Do the basics. see what works, do it a couple times live, see what you like or what you don't like, and then change the template after you try it a couple times.
Excellent.
All right, everyone. So this is good. I see a couple people on Twitch and everyone watching. So thank you so much for watching. That is the end of the Build With Me episode 26 for Market Plan. Again, at the end of the month, April 25th, we're going to have Tyler on from marketplan.io to really walk through it. I'm going to talk to him beforehand to ask questions that you just asked me, Nancy, to get you more information. But I'm going to make sure that he does it live, of course, but I'm going to try to get that information before we do it. Again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, this is incredibly impactful and definitely a tool I'll be using in my business.
Awesome. All right, guys. So don't forget, ask questions in that, in whatever you're watching on Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, ask questions. If you have any, go to buildwithdoc.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get all those things. We'll see you tomorrow in episode 26.